Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unlock something absolutely fascinating. We're taking this incredibly deep, historically complex, and, well, kind of secretive philosophy from Chapter 18 of Morals and Dogma. Specifically, we're looking at the concept of the Knight Rose Croix. But we're not just reading history, we're actually translating this into a highly practical guide for your own internal journey of self-discovery. Now, if you've never encountered these heavy 19th century spiritual texts before, seriously, do not worry. Because at their core, they aren't really about ancient rituals at all. They're actually these incredibly insightful blueprints for human psychology and personal evolution. So let's dive right in.
Right off the bat, we're hit with this profound question. What must change within you for you to truly grow? It's the central inquiry of our whole exploration today. It really challenges us to, stop looking at the external world for a second, look inward, and begin our own personal hero's quest. Because the honest truth is, real change doesn't happen around you until it first happens inside you.
Which brings us to part 1, the Knight Within, your call to action.
So when we talk about this knight, we definitely aren't talking about physical armor or shining swords or literal battles on a field. The Knight Rose Croix is actually an archetype for you. It's a symbol. It represents this fierce internal resolve that you absolutely need to discover higher understanding. The source material here is really talking about that specific part of your mind and spirit that's brave enough to seek transformation, to hold on to faith during those really dark times, and to actively search for the inner light of truth.
And that brings us to a fundamental distinction. True growth isn't about altering the world around you. It's not about getting a new job or just changing your environment. Those are completely external changes. The whole philosophy of the Knight Rose Croix teaches that true transformation is a deeply internal shift. It's a shift that permanently changes how you interact with reality itself. It's like, once you change the lens through which you view the world you're viewing actually changes.
Moving on to part 2, Tools for the Quest, Redefining Faith and Belief.
So to embark on this quest, you can't just wander into your own psyche totally unprepared. You need armor. And here, that armor is a completely redefined concept of faith. I think often when people hear the word faith in a spiritual context, they immediately think of blind obedience, right? Or just accepting things without any evidence. But for the Knight Rose Croix, faith is this profound, active trust in a greater meaning. It's about having unwavering confidence in your personal progress and in the journey itself, especially, and this is key, especially when you're navigating uncertainty.
Now, the ultimate destination of all that active faith is holistic spiritual growth. But our source material emphasizes a pretty crucial warning here. True growth absolutely cannot be lopsided. It requires an equal, perfectly balanced mix of emotional awareness, moral clarity, and spiritual insight. Think about it. If you only develop your intellect but totally ignore your emotional intelligence or your moral compass, your transformation is basically incomplete. You need all 3 of these pillars carrying the weight if you truly want to evolve.
All right, part 3, the great ordeal, letting go of the old.
Look, growth is never easy. And this right here is arguably the hardest part of the entire journey. Because you just can't become something new while desperately clinging to who you used to be. True evolution literally demands that we shed the specific anchors tethering us to the past, what they call the old self. And that means actively identifying and then releasing those outdated beliefs that shrink our world. It means dropping the negative behavioral patterns that keep us stuck in these endless loops, and ditching the limiting perspectives that tell us we just can't achieve that higher understanding.
So how do we actually do that? Well, changing your life requires a very specific, step-by-step internal mechanism. First, you have to shift your beliefs. You kind of have to pry open your mind to the possibility that your current view just isn't the complete picture. Second, you expand your awareness. You start really noticing the patterns and the truths that you previously just ignored. And finally, step 3, you actually let go. You drop that heavy, heavy baggage of your limitations once and for all.
This whole concept is perfectly encapsulated in this idea. Endings lead to beginnings. Loss leads to transformation. It completely captures this beautiful, though, sometimes really painful cycle of renewal and rebirth. It serves as this incredibly powerful reminder that letting go of your old self, it isn't a defeat, not at all. The loss of those old limiting patterns is actually the necessary birth of your brand new, much more expansive self.
Which brings us to part 4, the reward, light overcoming the darkness.
So, after enduring the absolute ordeal of releasing your old self, you don't just walk away empty-handed. You're rewarded with the ultimate treasure,
this inner light. And guys, this isn't just some nice fluffy metaphor. It systematically conquers our internal darkness. When you actively cultivate this, knowledge steps in and actively overcomes your ignorance. Hope decisively overcomes your despair. And most importantly, profound truth literally shatters your illusions. It's essentially a complete cleansing mechanism for your mind.
But of course, there's a catch. And honestly, this is probably the single most important lesson of this entire explainer. The light is not given. It is discovered within. You can't buy it, you can't just borrow it from some guru, and absolutely no book can just hand it to you on a silver platter. Clarity, truth, awareness, they aren't handed down. You have to bravely excavate them from deep within your own mind through the exact kind of internal work we've just been talking about.
And that leads us to our final section, Part 5, Your Inner Awakening. Let's take a second to transition out of the pure philosophy and apply this directly to your life right now, today. The light you seek already exists within you. This is such a powerful reminder from our sources because it shows us that this entire journey, it's not about becoming someone else entirely. It's not about adding all these complex new layers to your personality. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It's simply about stripping away the darkness, the fear, and the limiting beliefs to finally uncover the brilliant truth of who you already are.
I want to leave you with a few profound questions to really chew on as you go about the rest of your day. What parts of yourself are genuinely ready to change? What old, invisible beliefs are currently holding you back from reaching your true potential? And where exactly can you actively bring more light, more truth, more hope into your life right now? The armor is sitting right there. It's yours to put on. I invite you to take that very first step on your own journey of transformation today.